Good morning, children. How are you? Welcome to your biology class. Crop production and management, part 5. Okay, children. Till now, we have learnt what is crop, what is meant by agriculture, rabi crops, kharif crops, and agricultural practices, preparation of soil, sowing seeds, irrigation, manuring, weeding, harvesting. Now coming to the harvesting. In the harvesting, we will observe two processes. First one, threshing. Second one, winnowing. Before going to learn that, what is meant by harvesting? Harvesting of a crop is an important task. The cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. Harvesting is nothing but it is cutting the crops after mature. When the crop is well formed, well developed, then we cut the crops. So that is called harvesting. The cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. In harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground. We directly pull the crops, pull out the plants. Otherwise, we cut at the ground level. It is usually takes 3 to 4 months for a cereal crop to mature. Cereal crops means paddy, wheat, maize, etc. So, after sowing the seeds, it takes 3 to 4 months to mature. Harvesting in our country is either done manually by sickle or by a machine called harvester. So, in olden days, we use sickle. See the picture of the sickle. And with the help of the sickle, we cut the crops at ground level. Otherwise, if it is a field is larger, then we use a machine called harvester. So, what is meant by harvesting? The cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. Harvesting is done manually with the help of sickle or a machine called harvester. Okay. After harvesting, what will farmers do? So, in the harvested crop, the grain, seeds need to be separated from the chaff. So, the chaff contains grains or seeds. We have to separate the seeds from chaff. This process is called threshing. So, separation of seeds from the chaff is called threshing. This is carried out with the help of a machine called combine. So, there is a machine to separate the seeds from the chaff is called combine, which is in fact a combined harvester and a thresher. So, harvester and thresher both are included. Okay, another process is there manually. Threshing also done manually. What will they hold some chaff, a bundle of chaff. They hold a bundle of chaff and beat against a big stone. Here you observe two farmers are beating these chaff against a stone. So, this is also very easy to separate grains from the chaff. So, So this is called threshing. What is meant by threshing? The separation of grains from the chaff is called threshing. Threshing is done manually by beating against a stone or using a machine called combine. Okay, children. After threshing, we will get after threshing we will get grains. So these grains contains some gross particles, some lightweight particles. These grains contains. We have to separate them. So these dust and light particles of grass, we have to separate them. How? By another process that is called winnowing. What is that process? That is winnowing. Here in this process, the farmer takes some grains, some seeds, and leave it from certain height. Leave it from certain height slowly. Then what will happen? The heavy grains fall on the ground, and the light grass particles, dried leaves, dried grass move away in the direction of the wind. This is called winnowing. So winnowing also done by using a machine. So children, after winnowing we will get grains, pure grains without any dust particles, without any unwanted leaves or grass. So here see children, this is threshing rice. These are the paddy grains and these are the wheat grains for threshing. After separating the grains from the chaff, and these are the millets, and these are corn and sorghum, beans, again millets. So we will get pure grains. Okay children, now coming to the next one. This is, we are getting pure grains. We are getting pure grains after chaffing. Children, what will you do after finishing your annual examinations? We feel happy. Why? Because you studied nearly 10 months of the same syllabus and you wrote your exams well. That means you have finished one academic year. How do you feel? You feel very happy. You celebrate small functions, small parties with your friends or with your neighbors, with your family. Why? Because of completing your academic year. In the same manner, farmers also celebrate festivals. Why? Because they worked in the hot sun. They worked in the field during the rainy seasons. In winter season also, they worked in the fields. They faced many problems. Yes, no doubt, they faced many problems in the hot sun, in the during the rains and winter. To practice all these preparation of the soil, they do it in the summer month, and also sowing seeds, irrigation, manuring, weeding, harvesting. So they face many problems while practicing all these practices, doing all these practices. So at last they forget everything. They forget every pain because they got the harvest. They got the crop. They get the grains. The grains are the grains make them happy. So they celebrate festivals. After 3 or 4 months of hard work, there comes to the day of the harvest. The sight of golden fields of standing crops, laden with grain, fills the hearts of farmers with joy and a sense of well-being. The effects of the fast season have borne fruit, and it is time to relax and enjoy a little. The period of harvest is thus of great joy and happiness in all parts of India. So farmers celebrate festivals throughout the India after their harvesting. So men and women celebrate it with great enthusiasm. Special festivals associated with the harvest season are Pongal, Baisakhi, Holi, Diwali, Nabanya and Bihu. So according to areas, according to regions, so farmers celebrate the festival. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, Pongal, Sankranti is a big festival. It is the farmers' festival. They feel happy. So after getting the grains or crop, yield of the crop, after getting the yield of the crop, they feel happy. They celebrate festivals with their families and with their unions. Okay, children. Now coming to the harvesting over. Harvesting, two main methods are there. Those two main methods are called, one is threshing and second one is winnowing. Now coming to the third one. Okay, children, I forget to say here in festival, in this picture, one famous, world famous heroine. Can you identify? No, you can't identify. But your parents or your grandparents may identify. She is nothing but she is Srimati Hema Malini. Srimati Hema Malini, one of the world famous heroine. She is enjoying the threshing, harvesting the crop. So even though she is a VVIP, she is encouraging the farmers. That shows the importance of cultivation in the life of everyone. She is harvesting the crop. That is the importance of cultivation. Okay, children, let us move to another slide. That is storage. Storage of produce is an important task. If the crop grains are to be kept for longer time, they should be safe from moisture, insects, rats and microorganisms. Storage is very, very important. You may observe in your houses. Your mother store the food items, that is sugar, rice grains, wheat, dals, everything this she store for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. She will take some careful measures. She protect these items from moisture, from rats, from fungus, from insects. Okay, why? This moisture or fungus or rats, insects spoil and damage the grocery. Damage these items, grocery. In the same manner, the farmers worked throughout the year, but he has to store the grains for next 12 months. That's why storage is very, very important practices in the agricultural. So he has to protect the grains from insects rats and microorganisms. Children, the fresh crop has more moisture. If freshly harvested grains are stored without drying, they may get spoiled or attacked by organisms, losing their germination capacity. For example, if a moist bread piece there, what will happen? Immediately the fungus formed on the moist bread plate and it spoils the bread. It becomes poisonous. So, if the moist grains are stored, the fungus attacks on the grains and spoil the grains and make them to lose the germination capacity. Hence, before storing them, the grains are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. So that's why we observe in the fields, the grains are dried in the sun because to remove the moisture. This prevents the attack by insects, pests, bacteria and fungi. So what is the useful of drying? It prevents the attack of bacteria, fungi and some pests. Farmers store grains in jute bags or metallic bins. So in our houses also we store the grains in the jute bags or in metallic tins. Large scale storage of grains is done in the silos and granaries to protect them. So if the grains are in more large scale, so those are stored in silos or granaries. So these protect the grains from pests and rats and insects. Dried neem leaves are used for storing food grains at home. In our houses we observe dried neem leaves. Dried neem leaves. So our mother put these dried green leaves at the bottom of the container and we store the grains. Then what is the use? See, neem leaves are antibiotic. Bacteria cannot develop in the presence of neem leaves. So neem trees are very, very important. They purify the air. I read in an article the neem leaves release oxygen 23.5 hours in a day. 23.5. A day contains 24 hours. So some leaves, some plants, they release oxygen during the daytime. But neem leaves release oxygen 23.5 hours in a day. That's why there we find purify air. These are neem trees are antibiotic. That's why our parents keep the neem leaves, dried leaves in the containers. For storing large quantities of grains in big godowns, specific chemical treatments are required to protect them from pests and microorganisms. So, some other practices by using the chemicals, by spraying pesticides, by spraying insecticides. These are some of the methods farmers use to protect the grains from the microorganisms. Okay, children, now look at this table. The food item milk. What are the sources of milk? Cow, buffalo, goat, camel. Next food item rice. Paddy plants, wheat plants, maize plants. So we get the rice from the paddy plants. Vegetables we get from different plants. Fruits we get from different plants, tubers like that. Meat we get meat from goat, sheep, deer, rabbit, fish, prawns, etc. Eggs we get eggs from hen, duck, etc. If you observe this table, you must have seen that like plants, animals also provide us with different kinds of food. We know we get food from both plants and animals. Plants provide us food in the same way, animals also provide us with different kinds of food. Many people living in the coastal areas consume fish as a major part of their diet. Children, coastal area. So, coastal area means seashore. So, there they get the fish. It is very cheap. So, they use a lot of fish in their diet. Fish is good for proteins. It is rich of proteins. So, these proteins are good for heart and formation of bones and everything. So, in the previous classes, you have learned about the food that we obtain from plants. The previous classes. What are the different types of food we get from the plants? We get the vegetables, we get cereals, we get fruits, we get seeds, we get nuts. So these are the different types of food materials: leafy vegetables, stem vegetables, tubers, bulbs, etc. We have just seen that the process of crop production involves a number of steps like selection of seeds, sowing, etc. So in this agricultural, we observe several methods. Those are preparation of soil and sowing seeds, irrigation, manuring, weeding, harvesting. These are the different methods we observe. Similarly, animals reared at home or in farms have to be provided with proper food, shelter and care. We rear animals like hens in our houses, or sheep, or prawns, or okay. They also need some careful steps. What are they? They have to be provided. So we should provide proper food, healthy food for healthy growth, and also shelter, and should take care about their diseases, their health. When this is done on a large scale, it is called animal husbandry. So this is called animal husbandry. So the taking care of animals about their food, shelter and care, this is called animal husbandry. So the rearing of animals on a large scale is called animal husbandry. So food, shelter and health are the most important aspects of animal husbandry. So meat, egg, milk, honey, silk, lac, wool and leather are the products that we get from animals. So we are getting food items and also some items, so economically useful items: leather, wool, lac, silk. So these are useful economically. So useful animals can be divided into following categories based on their products. They give us milk yielding animals, so dairy animals, cow, buffalo and goat. Meat and egg yielding animals: sheep, pig, fish, poultry and duck. Draught animals: mule, donkey, horse, bullocks. These are useful in our works. So you use bullock carts, horse cart, donkeys. So In olden days, donkeys are useful for carrying heavy vehicles, especially dhobi, washerman, and mule. Wool and silk yielding animals, sheep, goat, cow, buffalo, and camel. Animals yielding other products. So we are getting from animals, that is honey from the bees. So bees converts the nectar into honey. So silk from silk moth and pearls from oyster. So this is about agricultural crop production and management. Children, we have discussed about the what are the practices involved in the crop production and what is about animal husbandry. Children, read this or watch this video one or two times. After that, read the textbook. Read textbook several times. Then only you will get entire content. Next class I am going to conduct the test about this topic on 60 marks test. This test contains all fill up the blanks, choose the following, matching, true or false, and diagrams. Okay children, test will be for 60 marks. It contains all the above said questions. Wish you all the best children. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.